Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE NXT Takeover Rival. And, I'll actually go off and say I like the beginning of the show with them starting with Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze. Obviously, this one hadn't had that much time to be built up, and it really didn't have any other kind of implications towards it. They kind of just did a few things with a few run-ins and a few of the areas that they had in the past. And all in all, again, great way to start off the show. I mean, obviously the crowd is behind Hideo Itami, and Tyler Breeze in the past has been known to put on good matches, and they put on a relatively good one here as well. I'm actually kind of hoping they might keep them in a program with each other for a little while, just to see where they can actually go with this. Or they could be going different directions with both of them all together. Right now, I know there's one other program that they're working with Tyler Breeze that has the that Phantom of the Opera type character stalking him around, and obviously they're also playing off of I guess they might be playing off of having a fan jump out of the crowd in there, because that's one thing that happened during his entrance as well. That could have just been a plant doing that, or it could have been somebody actually being relatively stupid, just jumping into the crowd and trying to jump on top of them. But more than likely it was a plant. So we'll see where they go along with this, and see where they go with those two for a program, if they're going to go with them having matches with each other, or if they'll be continuing into separate areas. Next was the no disqualification match with Bull Dempsey and Baron Corbin. Relatively decent match, again, between the two of them. I wish it would have gone a little bit longer between the two of them, because you would like to see them do a little bit more. I'm also kind of glad that, the no disqualification rule in there usually can lead into just a whole bunch of weapons happening and everything. I'm kind of glad that wasn't necessarily the case in this kind of match. It was just kind of them going and working around the arena a little bit, and very little weapons use put in there in there as well. And I like the finish with how Baron Corbin actually countered the chair shot attempt into his end of days maneuver. I actually like that maneuver a lot. It looks really cool. Now we'll see where they actually go with this, because that has to be the blow-off between the two of them at this time. So we'll see where Baron Corbin goes after this, and we'll see where Bull Dempsey goes after this as well. Next up was the Lucha Dragons and Wesley and Blake for the NXT Tag Team titles. This was probably the weakest match on the show. It didn't seem to flow in any way. But with both of these teams, I know Kalisto and Sin Cara botched a maneuver within the match. I mean, it's given when you have the high flyer style that a move could be botched at any given time. So you kind of give a little bit of leeway there, and I did with that. But it just seemed like this match did not have any flow, didn't have any continuity to it. And not to mention, they didn't really have much of a story build to it as well, so there wasn't much behind it. So I would have to say this was definitely the weakest match on the show. It wasn't atrocious, but it didn't click in any. It just didn't click for me in any way, and that's just my personal opinion on that one. Up next was Finn Balor and Adrian Neville, and this was the number one contendership to end the number one contendership finals for the tournament. Again with this match, I would have to say, after seeing some of the other matches, like initially at this point of the show, I would call this match probably the match of the night. They put on a great match in here, and it was nice to see that they kind of pulled off variations of their finishers, different types of variations of it, to get the near falls, and just the way the match progressed between the two of them. Their usage of in-ring and out of the ring. I like the spot where Finn Balor did the drop kick on the outside, going through the barricade. I also liked how he looked going through there, kind of trying to portray that creepy, stalking type feel before pulling off the maneuver. Adrian Neville, again, pulling off great matches. And it seems like he's going through the motions, or not necessarily going through the motions, but kind of putting over the newer guys going into the actual, his potential actual call up to the main roster. And we'll see what kind of character they come up with him for there. But overall, fun, fantastic, great spots, good offense between the two in every way. I really enjoyed this match. And again, I would also say afterwards with that, after seeing that match, again, another really enjoyable match with the women's Fatal 4-Way. They, NXT, the way they portray NXT, they definitely portray NXT differently from their main roster. Like having this type of women's match and giving them the time that they give them in any way, you would never see this on the main roster in any way at this point. Not even for a pay-per-view match or would you see them give this type of time and these people put that type of effort into the match. It's been very rare that you see it on the main roster, and it seems like they give it to these women at any given time. They definitely portray the women's division in NXT a lot differently than they do the Divas division and up on the main roster. And just in all honesty, this was a great and fun Fatal 4-Way match. It wasn't one of those like, oh, we get rid of two people now, it's a one-on-one situation. You were having it where all four were around. You had some one-on-one situations, triple threat type situations in there, and it was a great and fun match. I like the ending with how Sasha Banks gets the victory via countering Charlotte trying to go for the rope break in there, rolls her up and gets the pin. I like that. I like that finish mainly just because it kind of feels like almost the smart way of ending the match, or a smart move on Sasha Banks' part. It's like, oh, she's gonna rope break. Well, I'm gonna just roll her up and try to get a pin here. That actually came off really well, and this leads into the main event of the show. Which was, of course, the NXT title with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I've never really seen these two have a match before. I haven't been able to watch any of their indie stuff, but you hear about it, and you hear about it a lot. And I'll go off and say the way they portrayed this match was really well done. I liked the way they came off of it. Even though you had Sami Zayn dominate for most of the match, even though getting offense, and he plays the underdog a lot in most of his matches to begin with, so he doesn't necessarily always get the most kind of offense in. But the way they portrayed the finish, I liked it. I know there's going to probably be some people that harp on them doing the whole ref stoppage thing. I liked this. I just like the way they portrayed it. They made it seem like it flowed perfectly. Like, you almost felt like when Sami Zayn did the springboard moonsault to the outside of the ring that he botched and hit his head on the the rampway there. But then when you saw what they were going for later on in the match, it's like, oh, they had a meant to do that, and they had a mean to do that. So you make it look like you kind of botched it and hit his head, but in the end they played with something like that. And I give them credit for playing with something like that, because that's very, very dangerous to try to go that route there with what they did. And I like the results that they got in this case. It came off really well. It made it feel that, they made it feel like, oh, Kevin Owens is just doing this for business, but you know the way that he was portraying himself, it was completely like a personal issue in every way. Plus, it leaves it wide open for continuation. For longer continuation in this case, not just necessarily a rematch. You can have more. You can have more matches with this one. I liked where they went with it. I'm interested to see where they go, where they can continue on with this. How long will they? Like, how many weeks of tapings will they keep Sami Zayn out to maybe play off the injury a little bit of how the finish of the match went, and we'll see where they actually go with it. I enjoyed that finish, and I know some people are going to harp on it, but I actually liked where they went with this, and I can't wait to see where they're going to go with the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens storyline. Overall, outside of the tag team title match, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed NXT Rival. Like I said, the tag team title match, it just didn't really click. It wasn't horrible. I know there was a couple botches in there, but you know, it just didn't click. It didn't flow in any way. And that was really the only knock on this show, was that one particular match. So overall, again, a great and fun show to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And you know, that's my review for NXT Takeover Rival. And I thank you guys for watching.